Welcome to Creating Digital Stories with Sway. I am Charity Hellman, and with me today is the awesome Danny Leeming. He's out in Castlegar, British Columbia. That's by Nelson. He's in the awesome, beautiful, lush lake area, I believe it kind of is. I am in Breaks, Alberta, just outside of Calgary. Okay, it is very likely that you're participating in learning from or near the territorial land of one of the many Indigenous groups across Canada. I acknowledge that I'm presenting from the territory of the local Treaty 7 people, the Siksika, Blackfoot, Kainai, Blood, Piikani, Pagan, Stoney Nakoda, and Tsuut'ina Sarsi, whose beautiful land, and it's so beautiful, on which I'm able to teach, learn, explore, and share my passion of technology with you. If you haven't checked out native-land.ca, please do so. It's a great website to learn more about our wonderful native land. Hi, everyone. We're so happy to be with you. Hi, Rebecca, Diego, Nathan, Jeffrey. We're pumped to be here with you. We're going to get to know you. We're going to have some story time. We're going to cover a little bit of the hero's journey today. We're going to write. Yes, I said write. It's going to be okay. I know some of you are like, writing, but it's going to be okay. Writing is fun. It will be great. And then we're going to talk to you about your next steps after our hour with you. So we want to hear from you. Some of you have found this already, thecc.page/th2a. Please go to that form, jump on in. We're going to practice. It is going to be fun, Jeffrey. Let us know. Who are you? What grade are you in? Where are you joining us from? Is it from a classroom? Is it remotely? Let us know.
I think we should hire Jeffrey as our hype guy. He is very excited. We're doing well, Diego. Thank you for asking. We've got Jeffrey, Rebecca, Juliet, Emily, or Amelia. I'm sorry if I mispronounced. Liam. So apologies, Liam. The internet is a bit up and down here and there. Luca, nice to see you.
Let us know where you guys are joining us from. Are you in Ontario? Are you in Quebec? Are you in Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan, Manitoba? Are you in the Maritimes? Or are you more north of us in the Yukon or the Northwest Territories? Awesome. We can't wait either, Diego and Jeffrey. It's going to be fun. Just let us know in that chat where you're joining us from. And while you're doing that, oh, look at all this grade 5s, grade 6s. So fantastic. Lots of Quebec, Ottawa. I love it. So on that note, while you're in that form, let us know, what is a hero? What makes a hero? Danny, when we thought we were live before, you gave a really great thought on what you thought a hero was. Do you want to share that?
Sure, yeah. A hero to me is someone who goes out of their way to help their community, and that means heroes can be big or small. So it's not taking care of yourself, but it's making sure you're taking care of others. So it could be anybody from Superman down to someone who's helping out at their shelter or running a charity drive. Oh my God, look at all these answers pouring in. That to me is a hero. And we've got Demetrius and Maria Teresa and Aiden and Kayla and Cristiano.
Nice. So Gavin, if you can send them to Bragg Creek, I'll have some of your twinks. This is awesome. What makes a hero, you guys? Kindness makes a hero, Jeffrey. Oh, I love to hear that, especially because of the story that I'm going to share with you. You guys are all heroes. Are you ready to get started? Let's get going. It is story time. So today's lesson is all about writing a story, talking about the hero's journey, and putting it all together in the Microsoft product Sway. We love Microsoft. We love the Cobblestone Collective. They're the two companies that make it possible for us to be here with you today. And we are going to use Sway. So I am going to show you my Sway and my story that I've written for you to share today. So this is Sway. I don't know if you've ever been in here, but this is kind of what it looks like. I've got a few Sways down here. I'm going to go ahead and open mine up. just watch for now. I'm going to show you one. I'm going to read my story to you, and then we're going to talk about the hero's journey, and we're going to look at my story and the sway, and then you get to create. So I'm just going into a sway that I've created already. And you can see here, this is in edit mode. So I'm going to go ahead and play this one for you so you can see what a sway actually looks like, because this is our end goal for today. So this is it. All right. Summon Your Inner Superhero is the name of my story in the beginning. And I've put all these little headings in here to kind of mark out the pieces of my hero journey. You don't, it doesn't necessarily have to be in there, but I think we might do that today. So when I was little, I wanted to be so many things, but above them all was to be a superhero. Heroes and superheroes to me were people who exhibited strength, courage, kindness, and could do amazing things. Oh, I cut my head off in that picture, shucks. You see, things were going great once I hit school. I was making friends, playing Red Rover at recess, and chasing boys. Life was awesome as a kid. When I hit grade 3, things started to change. I know that I am older, that this is the age that now that I am older, I know that this is the age that friend dynamics start to really emerge. Girls get cliquey, and kids are simply fickle. One day, you're an awesome friend to someone. The next day, you might... Oh, I got to go back there. Sorry. I'm going to expand this. So this is called a stack, and I'm going to expand it. There we go. Girls get cliquey and kids are simply fickle. One day you're an awesome friend to someone. The next day you might be on the outs. I experienced this. I began to get bullied. I remember hitting the playground for recess one day, and I was a little slower than my group of friends getting out of school. I saw them on the playground and ran towards them because that's what you do when you're a kid and you see your friends, right? You guys know that. Well, you can imagine how I felt when they looked up, saw me, and they ran. You see, things were going great once I already read that. Sorry, guys. My heart was broken, and I went home that day and friends didn't like me. What had I done? Well, my mom sat me down and consoled me. She gave me a really good pep talk. Although I was feeling frustrated and very hurt because my friends didn't want to be around me, my mom reminded me that there were other kids who did want to play with me, and I should go and hang out with them. I was feeling better and ready to head back to school the next day. It would hurt to see my friends, but I was going to summon my inner superhero and conquer the day. I recall walking down the road to school that day. It was a different feeling inside of me. I was walking into a different scene that day. I knew if I approached my friends who ran away from me the day before, that they would likely run again. I also remembered my mom's words about joining other friends and playing with them. As I got closer to the school, my stomach, which had butterflies, suddenly felt more steely. My chin picked up, and I saw my friends who ran away on the playground. I looked across the playground, and I saw the friends my mom figured I should join. I was at a crossroads. Should I try to talk to my friends who were being mean, or do I just carry on and go play with my other friends? Suddenly, the superhero in me took over, and I was going to approach the meanies. The day was somewhat cloudy, and there was a little chill in the air. The meanies were hanging out at the swings. One was kicking dirt as she swung back and forth, and I could see another tap the boss on her shoulder as I approached. They pointed to me to signal to me that they knew I was coming their way. I had always loved Wonder Woman, so at that moment, my alter ego was her, and she engaged. My eyes focused on them, and I strode with an air of confidence and flashed a huge, pearly white smile at them. 3, 2, 1. I was standing in front of them. It was now or never. I had to confront them. They didn't run. They just stood there with stoic looks on their faces, and one meanie had a look on her face as if to say, "What do you think you're doing?" "Yesterday wasn't too fun. Why did you run away from me?" I asked. Silence. "You realize that you aren't being nice," I stated. They looked at me with a "no duh" look on their faces. It was at that moment that the Wonder Woman in me really took over. Suddenly, I stepped right in front of one of the girls, looked over to the boss, then stared the one girl right in the face and said, "You can't tell me she's never done this to you. How did that make you feel?" Then I walked over to another girl, looked at her, looked over at the boss, who was seeming very unsure about things right now, and said, You also know that a few weeks ago, I saw her being quite rude to you. Doesn't kindness count for something? This girl lowered her eyes and couldn't look me in the face anymore. At that point, I spun on my.
Oh, it looks like Charity's internet lagged a little bit. There we go.
How will that make you feel? She simply stood there looking as though she was holding back tears. I was feeling empowered and strong. I walked away from that stack. Now, in a typical story, you would think that this is the point that the boss came after me to apologize. Well, no, that did not happen. I sat at school sick to my stomach because I had tried to be all superhero-y and solve the problem. I then went home and cried again. The next day, I woke up with new results. I wasn't going to try to be friends with those girls anymore. I was going to forge a new path for myself. My inner superhero once again emerged, and I bounced off to school. I was going to be my new fun, fierce self. I attacked my day like the superhero that I wanted to be. I went to the teeter-totters when I got to school, and as I dropped my backpack on the ground, who should appear? One of the girls from yesterday. You were right. Kindness is everything. Thank you for sticking up for it and for yourself. You're a tough chick to stand up to the boss, too. Thanks, I said with a new light in my eyes. How did you do it? I would have been crushed. I was crushed the other week when she was super mean to me. I wish I was more like you, she went on. Thanks, I uttered again. Sometimes you just have to summon the superhero in you. So that is a sway. I want to show you something before I leave here. If I click on this bottom square in the bottom right corner, I can actually take a look at my sway, kind of like little chapters that I have. So I'm going to show you headings, and each of the headings that I put in create one of those little chapters, so a little part of the hero's journey. So I'm going to now come back to my presentation. So that was a very atypical superhero type story. I know that there's like action-packed superhero stories and, you know, big boom crash type superhero stories. We're going to get to write one today. But tell me this, what would be the name of your inner superhero and what would be their superpower? Let us know through the form.
Awesome story, Charity. While we wait for some of those new answers to jump in, I just want to go back and recap some of the what is a hero to you answers, because some of them are awesome. Bianca says a hero is a person who will do anything to save other people in their own or other people's countries. Fred is a big fan of Scooby-Doo, also a hero, I agree. Joseph said, I think superheroes aren't just people who can fly and fight crime, but people like firefighters and police officers and doctors and nurses. Hazel says somebody who can care for others. Louise, somebody who helps people. The one and only Batman from Chris. And there was another good one that I saw up here. A hero is somebody that would do just about anything to help or save somebody. That's from Sarah. Such great answers.
For sure. Oh, Maria Teresa Garcia Ramirez. I can't see the rest of your name, but she says her inner superhero would be Madam Stills. I like it.
Aiden says his teacher is a hero.
That's right. So Amelia asked if it's really what happened or if it was made up. Amelia, it is loosely based on a true story from my childhood. Yes. Not all events are accurate, but loosely based. Awesome. Keep letting us know. What would be the name of your inner superhero? I have a daughter in grade 5, like a lot of you. And when she was really young, she came to me and she says, Mom, don't tell anyone, but I'm Wonder Woman. It was so cute. And to this day, she just loves Wonder Woman. And I think that's a fantastic female role model to look up to. What are some of the names we've got coming in there, Danny?
Toba Rama. Sorry if I mispronounce any names here. I'm doing my best. Reanimation Jutsu is his name of his superhero. Courtney says Verka because I like the singers. Oh, there's a whole bunch that just came in all at once. Emily, sorry. Mine would be called Super Animals. She would save animals that are in danger. That's very lovely. Nova says Addison Rae, and that is a reference that Charity and I will both get because we use TikTok. Jack is going to be the Jack Attack. I love that.
That's great.
And Olivia says Two-Face with water powers. Very cool.
Very cool. Okay, so you've heard of swag. We've all got swag, right? Well, this is sway. So now you're going to do some work with me. So I want you to go ahead and I want you to go to, actually, let me put that back on the screen, sway.office.com. I want you to open.
Oh, we lost your audio there for a sec, Charity. So I think you just said everyone should head to sway.office.com.
Absolutely. I hope I'm at least making funny faces when I freeze here. Or maybe I should hope for nice faces. All right, sway.office.com. I'm going to go on over to my sway.office.com. I'll just type it in so you can see me typing it. Whoops, there we go. Sway.office.com. And that's what it looks like. So everyone get there, open that up, and you're ready to rock when we rock. You're going to say create a new sway. So click on create new, but don't start writing just yet. We've got something to talk about. And we want to talk about the hero's journey. So this diagram on the right-hand side of your screen shows you the hero's journey. It does have a lot of phases to it. We're going to kind of simplify it a little bit. So it always starts with your hero, and there's that call to adventure. So I want you to think of like your favorite stories that have a hero in them. And I want you to think about the story when I tell you about these parts. Whoops. There's always a call to adventure, that need to go out and do something or fix something, or a problem arises. And then there's a supernatural perhaps aid, maybe not. And they come to this threshold, and that's where they journey over another about how I went back to the playground the next day, and it was a different scene then. So
So as Charity was saying, the hero's journey. Are you back, Charity? I think you're back.
Yeah, I am. It's because of the help of like a mentor or helper. And remember, in my story, my mom spoke to me and really gave me some wise advice. So when I went back to the playground and crossed over to that other scene, the playground was a different space, it was because of her help. And there were challenges for sure. The other girls and those, the meanies, they had an effect and an impact on me. And I tried to confront them, and I tried to conquer this, and nothing happened. So I had some challenges. And then I went back home and I cried, and I had this transformation. And I came back to the playground the next day to try to have some resolve and figure it out. And that's when the other girl came to me and said, you know what, you stood up for kindness, and you stood up for yourself. And then my return was like, hey, I did this because I summoned my inner superhero. So that is kind of how I took this hero's journey and applied it to my story. We're going to break this down quite a bit to get writing one here. So in your sway, I'm going to go back to my sway here for a second. You created a new sway. I'm going to show you a few things about this, and you're going to have some quiet time and get writing. You don't necessarily have to title your story right away. When I write stories, I like to come back to it in the end and give it a title. But you can go ahead and title it if you wanted to right now, just by clicking on there. I'm just going to type superhero story. You'll see above, you've got emphasize, you've got accent, and you've got links you can add. We're going to keep it really quite basic today, but after this workshop, feel free to come back and jazz up your story and your text. I need to add a background image, so I'll leave it to you if you want to do that right away or later. But to get typing your story, you're going to hit this green plus sign, and we're going to first pick heading, because we just want to type a heading, and maybe you don't want to type these headings, but these will help you to kind of break your story into pieces. So you can just type beginning if you want, or getting to know the hero. And then I'm going to hit that green plus sign again and select the text box. And it's here that I'm going to start to type my story. So what will you be writing? Well, let me go back to my slides. Description of them and their character. You want to use lots of juicy words, adjectives and adverbs to describe our nouns and verbs. And you want to think about, what is the problem? So what is it that this superhero needs to defeat or conquer or overcome? Is it internal? Is it them? Or is it something in their world? Who or It was my mom that inspired me to take action in my story. So I'm going to be quiet here. We're going to take 5 minutes. Danny and I are going to go radio silent, and I want you to write about this in that first text box in your sway. So you're going to write, who is the hero? Describe them, their character. Tell me about the problem and who or what inspires them to take action. Remember, you're writing a story. All right, so you're telling the story and you're covering all of this. I'm going silent. I hope you have fun writing. All right, everyone. That's been about 5 minutes. Now, I want to remind everyone that this is being recorded. So if at this point you're like, no, Charity, I need more time, feel free to pause us. You can always pause, rewind, and play. You can watch us at your leisure and take as much time as you need. But we are going to move forward to the next part of our story. So in our sway, I don't know if you were watching as I was working as well, and saw that I was working as well, but I've started my story as well. So in our sway now, I'm going to actually, I can use another heading, and I could say crossing over. Oops, let me make sure so this is the part where now our superhero is probably going to go into that other world per se, or start to face the issue and try to conquer or overcome or defeat.
Oh, we lost Charity again. So
Yeah.
we're on the crossing over part of the hero's journey. Are you back, Charity?
I am, yeah. So we want another text box so we can tell that next part of our story. And I'm going to come back here because I wanted to tell you what that next part is all about. And that is, who helps your hero decide to take action? Do they have a voice of wisdom that they listen to? All right, so we're going to be writing about, this is that point where, you know, my mom gave me that advice and I'm preparing to go into that other realm. All right, so we're crossing over because of that voice of wisdom, that mentor. So I'm going to give you 5 more minutes and you do your writing and continue your story. I'm going to go radio silent and continue mine. Have fun. All right. That 5 minutes just flew right by. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next section. And like I said, if you're on a roll in a section and you don't want to stop and listen to the next part, just pause. So once again, hit that green plus sign, add that heading if you want, and then add a text box for your next section of writing. Now, keep in mind, you can always come back, and I think your teachers would probably love it if you came back in and did some editing and revising, because it's all part of the writing process. But now we're going to talk about the next phase of our journey here. So now we've had that voice of wisdom with our hero. Now, what happens when your hero crosses into the point of action? How do the opposing forces or characters in your story affect your hero? So now your hero is in the mix. All right, they're in the action, or they're working on defeating, maybe an opponent, or conquering an inner demon, or whatever it is your superhero is coming up against. And how are they affected? That's your next section. I'm going to go quiet now again for 5 more minutes. Happy writing. Okay, that was another 5 minutes. Now, if you've been following me on my screen, I don't know if you have because you should be busy doing your own writing. I didn't even get to finish that section, but we're going to move on anyway. Again, if you didn't and you want to pause it, feel free to pause it. The next section of our story is about how does your hero resolve their problem? Do they have to try more than once? So they might fail and go back and try again. In my first story, remember I talked to the girls and tried to reason with them and it didn't work. So then I had to, try to figure out another way to solve my problem. Do they have to try more than once? Is there a reward in the end? Like in Lord of the Rings, there's a ring in the end. Is there not? I haven't honestly haven't read it, but Danny, I know you know the answer to that. There's a ring, right?
There is a ring, yes. Yes, central to the story.
And how do things return to normal? Maybe it's not normal, but how does the hero come back to where they kind of were in the beginning? How do they return out of that journey back to the beginning, so to say? So that's what we're going to write about for the next 5 minutes. So again, you're going to hit that green plus sign and you're going to make a heading if you want, and then another text box. And happy writing. I'll see you in 5. All right. Wow, you guys, that writing time went super fast. So I know you're probably not done your story, and that's okay. Don't worry about that. A few more things I want to show you about Sway as we wrap up here. So I'm just going to go back to, let me just shrink this up here. There we go. I'm going to go back to the Sway that I had told you my story with. And I'm going to jump in there because you saw a couple of things in there that were a little different. Remember that stack? It looks like those cars that were kind of turned on one another. So I'm in my edit mode. Here it is. So I've added images to kind of enhance each section of my story. Yes, that is me as a little girl. But down here, I've got this stack. So it's called a group stack. So when you hit that green plus sign, I'm going to go right to the bottom. Oh, maybe not. Here we go. When I hit that green plus sign, I have the option to do a stack. So when I choose that, then I'm going to go ahead and choose it right now. I can add content and I can add text or images, and it can be stacked on top of one another. I like this effect for like maybe the building of a climax of a story. Like this happened, remove the card. Then this happened, remove the card. Then this happened. So you can have more than 3 cards if you want. I use 3 in my story. You can also upload things to this. So I think that's a kind of cool option. When you are all done your Sway, you're going to go back in, you're going to edit, you're going to use you know, these accents and emphasize, you're going to add images, you're going to make it so beautiful. If you ever have a section that you don't want, like you want to get rid of these headings, go ahead and click on that trash bin and that gets rid of your headings. To play your Sway, you just come up here and you hit play, and then the share button will allow you to share. Your teacher will be getting a little video on how to share and publish, and a couple ideas on how to get feedback from your peers if you're into getting feedback and sharing that way as well. So that is the beginning of working on your story in Sway. I hope you guys really liked it. I hope you think Sway is pretty cool. You can let us know in the forum, did your alter ego superhero conquer in your story or not? Let us know. But right now, I want you just to look at your teacher, give them a thumbs up, and you're going to wait for them to give you further instructions for today. And honestly, from Danny and I both, we want to say good luck with your story. Danny, thank you for being with me today.
Oh, very welcome. It was lots of fun. That was a great story, and also fun to read all the amazing folks in the response forum, like Brody and Rebecca and Diego and Juliet and Maria Teresa and Yana and all these people who are still flooding us with responses, which is awesome. Sway is online, yes, Daphne.
Thank you for having us, and good luck. Bye, everyone.